Welcome to part 2 of the intermediate full guide for gym goers. So the last full guide, the part 1 for the intermediate gym goer stuff, we talked mostly about the concept of bulking and changing up your routine and choosing your exercises, all of that good stuff. Today we're going to be talking about intensity boosters, how to handle plateaus, and optimizing your diet. So those are the 3 things we're going to talk about today. Alright, so first thing, intensity boosters. What are intensity boosters? Intensity boosters are, well, it's quite self-explanatory. They boost the intensity of your workouts. So let's say you're going to the gym and you're going way too easy on yourself. You're not making that much progress because, well, you're going too easy on yourself. Or maybe not getting as big. So you're adding weight to the bar every few weeks. So let's say you're doing bench press, 60 kilograms, 6 reps, and then every week you're adding 2 reps, so 60 kilograms for 8 reps, 60 kilograms for 10 reps, etc., etc. But you're not actually adding that much mass to your muscles. That might be because your workouts aren't that intense. They're not tearing the muscle fibers enough. And so what you want to do is tear the muscles a bit more. And how you do that is by upping the intensity of your workouts. And it still also works if you're plateauing in the gym. So if you're not making progress at all, still add some intensity. But also if you want to make more gains, because maybe there's a chance that you're making lots of gains right now, but you could be making more. And if that's the case, adding intensity boosters will actually probably help that quite a lot. So try these out. I do them quite often, almost every workout. I do stuff like drop sets and myo reps, and I do also do cheat reps sometimes. It's a bit controversial, but I'll get into it later. And then there's partial reps and isometric holds. And then there's some other stuff that I don't really do, like supersets. I don't do supersets, but we'll go through them. We'll talk about what these things are and how you can implement them into your workouts. So the first one is drop sets, my personal favorite. Drop sets are when you do a certain weight. Do a set, let's say. So you're doing bench press, my favorite example. You're doing 60 kilograms and 6 reps for bench press. You do 1 set of that to failure. And then, immediately afterwards, you take off the weight and instead of 60 kilograms, you're doing 55 for another, maybe 4 reps this time, because you're still pretty tired. There's no rest in between these sets. You go straight from 60 kilograms to 55. Your muscles are sore, your muscles are burning, who cares? Take that shit off. Start pumping that weight. And then when you're finished with the 55s, go longer. Go 50 kilograms and do another 6 for however many reps you can do. If you can only do 1 rep, take another 5 kilograms off, or maybe 10 kilograms, it depends, and see how much you can rep that for. And just keep going until you feel like, yeah, I've had enough, I'm too tired, let's just move on to the next exercise. Or you can just finish the working sets, because technically that is 1 set. But me personally, 1 drop set is really enough. To me, 1 drop set counts as 3 entire sets. It might not be scientifically accurate or whatever, but that's just how I do. So, yeah, and it works. It does work, so that's all that matters. We don't care about anything else. By the end of the drop set, if the target muscle, so let's say we're doing bench press, which targets the chest, if by the end of that drop set, your chest is not burning up, it's not on fire, it's not feeling like it's about to explode, if your chest isn't gigantically pumped by the end of that set, you need to do more. Get back on the bench. And so how I use drop sets is I'll do one normal working set. So I'll do bench press, I'll rep it for however many reps to failure. And then I rest a little bit, and then the next set will be my drop set. So it goes one normal working set, and then it goes to one drop set, rest, and then maybe another drop set. It depends how I'm feeling. And that way I get to test my strength at the beginning of the set, because I like to see how much extra weight I'm pushing. Right, so I'll add 2 reps every week or something, and that is what I measure in my first set. And then for the other sets, I don't really care about how much I'm pushing or how much progress I'm making. I just care about tearing the muscle as much as possible. That's how I usually work. And so yeah, if you want to implement drop sets into your workouts, you can do that. That's how you can do it. Make your first set a normal working set, and then the rest, they can be drop sets. Or you can just make them normal working sets. Like, sometimes I don't even include any intensity boosters. Sometimes I just do what I need to do and yeah, done, get out. You don't have to add any of these intensity boosters in your workout, but just for when you're feeling extra energized and you want to make a few extra gains or whatever. That's what this is for. Next, there's supersets. I haven't done these in a while, but what supersets are is it's when you pair 2 exercises with each other in one set. That's the oversimplification of it. If I were to expand, I'd say you do 2 exercises next to each other during rest breaks. So let's say you're doing upper body day, which I don't do, which is why I stopped doing supersets. Let's say you're doing chest and back. You're doing the bench press first. Great, rep out that stuff, get the blood pumping, and then immediately afterwards, as soon as you finish with that set for the bench press, you move immediately to the barbell rows. And then you row till you can't no more, and then you can rest. And then back to the bench press. Keep repping that stuff to failure if you need to, or if you're not a pussy. Little bitch. And then immediately, as soon as you're done, go back to the barbell rows or whatever. I'll be honest, I don't know if this actually creates more gains doing supersets. All I know is it's very time efficient, and it definitely brings up your heart rate a lot more. And it helps you recover quicker. So like, when you do the bench press, and then you immediately go do the barbell rows, since you're now doing back, the barbell rows, instead of chest, which is the bench press, the blood is circulating, it keeps the blood flowing longer, and it helps your chest recover quicker during that rest set, even though you're doing barbell rows. I'm not a science guy, I don't really know how to explain it that well, but supersets, they can be quite challenging if you want that extra mental boost. I don't know if they actually give you extra gains, they might. You can look it up. This is just for if you want to spice things up a little bit. Actually no, I'll look it up for you. Oh, yes, supersets can be an effective strategy for building muscle, especially when focusing on hypertrophy. Okay, there you go. Supersets. You want more gains, bro? You want more gains? Supersets got you, bro. Supersets will always be there for you. Okay, so next we have Myo reps. What are Myo reps? Myo reps is when you do one full set. So let's choose a different exercise this time. I'm tired of using bench press as an example. Let's say leg extension. You're doing leg extensions and you do one full working set to failure. You take a little break, maybe 30 seconds, and then immediately you go back to repping the same weight, not necessarily the same reps, because you won't be able to get the same reps, but you want to still go to failure again. And then when you're done, just take another 30-second break and get back to it. Rep maybe 3 to 5 reps. Depends how light the initial working set was. And just keep going until your legs are cooked. Those are myo reps. Myo reps It's when you do one full working set till failure and then just keep taking short rest breaks and then cranking out some extra reps in between. It won't be a lot of reps, but it'll be some reps. And those reps will usually be close to failure, which is why they're so effective. It's pretty commonly known in the gym industry that the part where your muscles are near failure is where you'll build the most muscle. And if you can keep your muscles in that state of near fatigue, it'll be very beneficial to your hypertrophic growth, how much muscle you build. So by doing myo reps, by keeping your muscles constantly in that state of near failure, you're going to build a lot more muscle. So just do those. I actually really love the myo reps. I think I've been doing them my entire time I've been at the gym, ever since I started. So yeah, these are an OG for me. Go myo reps. I love myo reps, bro. I'll marry him, kiss him, I'll make love with him, tickle their toes, I'll suck him. It's not gay, because myo reps aren't men. They don't have genders, so you can't. Shut up. Next, partial reps, or isometric holds. They're not the same, but they usually go interchangeably together. So, what are partial reps? Partial reps is when, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's say you're doing bicep curls with your arm straight out like this, which is a bit weird, but just for this example, you curl like this for your bicep curls. Partial reps would be just going halfway up. And now, some people would say, but that's useless. You need the full range of motion to be able to get all the benefits and stuff and science, but you need to go all the way up to get all the gains, otherwise you're just a little bitch. And to some extent that is true, but it depends on what you're talking about. If you're only doing the upper half of a movement where your muscle is contracted, so let's say my favorite exercise, bench press. If at the top of the movement, when your chest is contracted, you've got the bar up here, up in the air, and you're only going halfway down, you're not going to make that much gains from that. But if you keep the muscle in a stretched position, so let's say at the bottom of a bench press, your hands all the way down here, and you're going halfway up, that's much better. And it actually might be better than doing full range of motion itself. By only going halfway up and keeping the muscle stretched, you're actually building a lot more muscle because the stretch part of the movement is the most important. The upper half of the movement, not so much, but the lower half is definitely very important. So you want to keep your muscles stretched for most of the set. So, next, isometric hold. Isometric hold is, on its own, not very effective. Like if you just go to gym and you set up the bench and you've got the bar just hung out in front of you like this, it's just in the air, you're not repping, you're just holding the bar above your chest. It hurts, yeah, but it's not really doing much. It'll definitely be a bit challenging, but you won't be making much progress or gains, muscle, off of doing isometric holds by itself. What I tend to do is I will rep the weight. When I can't rep the weight no more, I'll partial rep the weight. And when I can't do that, I'll rest a little bit and then push the weight up for one rep. So I rest maybe 5 seconds so that I can get one last rep in my set. I'll push all the way up and then I isometric hold it there and slowly let the weight down as my muscles can't hold up the weight any longer. So I'll just slowly go down. Like I won't consciously go down. The weight itself will just go down by itself because my muscles are failing. And if you do it like that, that is very hypertrophic. Because one, you're keeping the muscles under a lot of tension for a long time. And 2, you're doing the negative part of a movement, which is also very important. More important than the positive part of the movement, where you're lifting the weight. The part where you drop the weight is actually a lot more important for muscle growth. So when you're just slowly dropping the weight, taking like around 10 seconds to do so, very hypertrophic. Highly recommend. Go do it. You got this. And then the last intensity booster that I at least have listed on my Google document is cheat reps. Cheat reps, you say? Cheat reps, you do? Cheat reps are for pussies. You can't be doing cheat reps, bro. They're bad for gains. You can't be doing that. Stop doing cheat reps, they're bad. Says every gym nerd on the face of Earth. Completely false. Cheat reps are actually fine. It just depends how you do them. If you cheat on the way up, so with bicep curls, we all see it. Some people, they just like to cheat their way up with a bicep curl, but then there's a mistake they make when they actually drop the weight without controlling it. If you never control the weight during a set, not good. If you control the weight on the way up, but then just drop it back down, okay, maybe not ideal. It's still better than not controlling it at all. But then you've got just heaving it up, heaving the weight up, and then slowly dropping it down under full control. Much better. And actually might be arguably better than its alternatives. If you heave the weight up and slowly drop it, it might actually be better than controlling the weight all the way up and all the way down. Cheating is not bad, as long as you control it on the way down. So how you want to go about cheat reps is don't be afraid to use momentum on the way up. So let's use the same example, bicep curls. You can use momentum to get the weight up, but then use complete control when you drop the weight. Because the negative part of a movement is, again, the most important. So you can heave your weight up and then slowly drop the weight back down. But I recommend you keep this until you reach around failure on the movement. You can do one full working set of bicep curls under full control, but then as you reach failure, you can start to use a bit of momentum to get the weight up. But as long as you're controlling on the way down, that's all that matters. And you also get a few extra reps in. So you're not actually sacrificing that much because you still got a whole working set that you just did. So yeah, good job, bro. Do those cheat reps. Don't be a bitch. How to handle plateaus. You might notice that something's a bit different about me today. I'll give you one guess. Yes, that's right. I'm wearing a navy shirt today. Not shirtless. Or wearing a vest, which is usually my highest standard of appropriate dressing. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I got my braces taken off yesterday because I took a few days off of recording. So that last part that you just saw, I recorded that last Saturday. And it's Thursday now, so I've taken a bit of a break. And that's just because I spent all of Sunday editing and Monday. And then I had school. And I usually have time before school to record. And then after school, my brain is just fucked. I can't do it. And I'm not recording if my brain is slow and foggy. It's just I can't get the words out of my mouth properly. I can't explain things as best as I can when my brain is foggy. So that's why I took a few days off. This morning, I woke up at around 5. I don't know what happened. I just had so much energy in me. And so I used that opportunity to get in the shower, meditate for a bit, all that stuff. But now it's 7:30 and I have a window of opportunity to record this, so I'm doing it. Go me. Big brain. So how do you handle plateaus? Me, I don't plateau often. And this is because I've always found ways to provide my body a new stimulus that it's not quite used to. See, the reason you plateau is because your body, it's so used to what you're doing. So let's say you go to the gym every day and you just do bench press and that's it. You'll make gains the first few times that you do the bench press, but after a while, the exercise just becomes stale, your body doesn't really respond to it as much anymore, and so you just stop making gains. You make a little bit, but not as much as you'd like, and that's the goal that we're trying to aim towards here. We're trying to make as much muscle as possible. So if you're doing the same shit over and over for years and years, months and months, days and days, you're going to plateau. It's not going to be very optimal for your gains. So what you want to do is provide a new stimulus. Doesn't have to be every time you work out, but frequent enough to the point where you don't do it too often, but you don't do it too little, to the point where you just end up plateauing a little bit here and there. What we want to do is find that sweet spot where you change the stimulus right before you start plateauing. So let's say after 3 weeks of a certain exercise, your body gets used to it and it says, "No, can't do this no more." Or it doesn't have to be to a certain exercise. It can be to how intense the workouts are, which is usually what causes plateau, is your intensity is not enough, or your volume. It's not usually the exercises that cause a plateau. Maybe once every 4 months the exercise will plateau, but if you plateau every week or something, which is not likely, but if you plateau more frequently than 4 months, then chances are there's something else going on that you're not doing quite right. And usually it's either within the diet or your training. So with diet, me personally, it's hard to get diet wrong, because although I've gained a lot of muscle, like I can literally see my muscles growing every week. It's like I take pictures and all that. It's insane how much I'm growing from all of this. I'm surprisingly not actually gaining that much weight. I've gained 1 kilo in the last month or whatever, or 2 months, or 3. It's not a lot. And so since my body weight doesn't change that much, but I'm still gaining muscle, I can really just eat the same stuff every single day. 3,000 calories. I never have to eat more because it's just pointless. I'm not gaining weight, therefore I'm not burning more calories every day. Therefore, I just eat the same amount of calories every single day. Easy peas. Now for some of you out there, you probably do gain not lots of weight, but more than me per week, let's say. You probably gain around half a kilo per week if you eat right. And eventually you just stop gaining weight. You plateau. Because now you've gained so much weight that you burn more calories, and therefore the old calories that you were eating, they were surplus before, but now they're more maintenance. And so now you need to eat more. Otherwise you're just not going to make any more muscle because you're eating your maintenance now. You're eating your maintenance, not your surplus. Get on it. But that's a pretty simple fix. Some people do that by default. They always eat enough, but they still plateau. And to that, I think that's the biggest issue with most people, is that their workouts aren't intense enough, or their workouts have been so intense for a long period of time that their body just doesn't respond to it anymore. So I'll explain. The reason your body grows is because it's adapting. You grow your muscles because they adapt to the stress and tear that you put on them. When your muscles work hard, every time your muscles are burning and they're tense and they're sore, your muscles think, "Nah, I don't like this. This is too difficult. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strengthen myself. I'm gonna build more muscle so that I can make the next workout easier. So that I don't have to go through this discomfort." And so the muscle grows. But here's the thing. Eventually your muscles learn that after a while, as you grow more muscle to counteract the discomfort, you're still putting more and more discomfort on the muscles. And your muscles learn that just adding more muscles, it's useless. Because we're trying to fight against the discomfort, but you're just giving me more of it. And so as a result, the muscles give up and they stop making muscle. It's not the most scientific way of analyzing it, but if I did describe it scientifically, or if I could, because I don't really think of it scientifically, you probably wouldn't understand it. So just think of it like that. Your muscles, they don't like the discomfort, so they grow in order to make your workouts easier, in order to counteract the discomfort. But if them trying to counteract the discomfort just makes it more uncomfortable, they're going to stop eventually. So what you want to do is teach it that when they try to counteract the discomfort, just lower the discomfort a little bit for a little while. So when your muscles stop growing despite you doing everything right, diet, recovery, training, if you still start plateauing, calm down, do a deload week where you stop working as hard every workout. You still get the work in, but you don't always go to failure. You kind of go a few reps shy of failure, maybe do less sets, maybe stop using the intensity boosters for a while, and you might not make as many gains that week, but the week after that, when you suddenly go back to working hard again, gritting your teeth, sweating after every workout, you're going to make a lot of muscle that week. I hope that's a comprehensible way to explain it. I hope you understand. So what you want to do every time your muscles just stop growing as much to the intensity that you're doing, you want to decrease the intensity for a short amount of time. So maybe 1 week you do really high intensity. So you're doing intensity boosters, you're doing lots of sets, you're going to failure or close to failure every set. And then every other week, or the week after that, you deload. You stop doing intensity boosters, you stop doing drop sets and supersets, you stop doing as many sets, all that good stuff. And then the next week you go back to doing high intensity again. And then next week, low intensity. Next week, high intensity, and so on. But it really depends on how often you plateau. Because me, like I said, I don't plateau often. My workouts, there's never a set intensity for a long period of time. And that's why I continue to make gains every single workout. Honestly, I don't think I've actually plateaued in the last half a year, maybe. More than that. So, use my advice. Just try and fiddle with the intensity some weeks. Have a deload week if you need to. But that's only if you're doing everything right. You're eating enough. You're eating enough, you're sleeping right, you're eating... Wait, no, I already said that. You're eating enough, you're sleeping right, and you're training right. Just fiddle with the intensity. But then there's also the argument of that some people, maybe they're not making that many gains because their intensity is too low. I've seen it with a lot of guys, is they'll come to the gym, they'll do a few lower raises as a first exercise, which is a bit weird in my opinion. They just do lower raises, not even till failure. They go like this and just drop the weight. They're doing 5 kilograms or something. And then they go and do, I don't know, push-ups, about 10 push-ups, and then they just go home. That's a very extreme example, but it's, some people, they do the same thing, but just more of it. They do more volume, more sets, more exercises, but the same amount of effort. And people like that, the high-low intensity method probably will not work because you're not going high in the first place. So what I'll say to those guys is just try to progressively up the intensity a little bit. Every week, maybe go a bit closer to failure, or to failure. Do 1 set to failure per week. And then maybe not per week. Or maybe yes per week. It depends how much of a pussy you are. If you're not a pussy, do at least failure once per day. Go to failure once per day. But then the next week, go to failure twice per day. And then maybe thrice per day, and so on. And then eventually start adding in intensity boosters. Maybe do a bit more volume, more volume doesn't necessarily mean more intensity, but it can still work to counteract a plateau if you're plateauing. And then eventually you'll be up there. You'll be that guy in terms of intensity. So there's two types of people. People who don't work hard enough and people that do work hard enough. The people that don't work hard enough progressively up the intensity. Every week, try and add more intensity to your workouts. And then for the guys who are very, very high intensity, try to bring the intensity down. Like, just go cold turkey for a while. Bring the intensity down. You go high intensity, low intensity, high intensity, low intensity. Next we have optimizing your diet. There are two phases of going to the gym in terms of diet. There's usually bulking and cutting. But here's the thing. I don't talk about either of these. I mean, yeah, I talk about bulking, but it's not really bulking for me because I don't gain weight. Technically, I am bulking, but I'm not really gaining that much weight. I'm gaining around maybe 1/10 of a kilo per week. And I'm still putting on significant mass. What I would say is I'm in between bulking and cutting. I'm in the middle. I'm still eating lots of calories, more than my maintenance. But I'm also not getting any fat, but I'm getting lots of muscle. It's in the middle between a bulk and a cut. If you don't know what a bulk or cut is, a bulk is just where you eat lots of calories, you gain lots of muscle. If you go to the gym and you push weights, you will gain muscle. But you'll also gain a lot of fat as a byproduct. And then with cutting, you're really just losing all that excess fat that you gained during the bulk. That's all it really is. And so with me, I do what's called lean bulking. Except, people say that lean bulking, you eat not that many calories over your maintenance as a surplus. So your surplus is very small in lean bulking. My surplus is humongous. The surplus in lean bulking is usually around 200 calories. Mine is around 800. And the funny thing is, I still don't gain weight. That is because I clean bulk. When you clean bulk, yeah, it'll be harder to gain weight, which is usually the goal for most guys. But in this video, we're mainly talking about how to gain muscle, not necessarily weight. Like, if you want to pack on a few pounds or kilograms, I'm Australian, so I should be saying pounds. Idiot. Stupid. Then yeah, just eat a lot. You don't really need to go to the gym if you just want to get a bunch of weight. But we're here for the muscle, and chances are not so much for the fat. You want to stay lean but muscular. If that's your goal, you should clean bulk. With dirty bulking, you are going to gain a lot of fat. It's just objective truth. You're going to be also less energetic. You might come across some few health problems, a bit of acne, probably. If you know the downsides of dirty bulking and you're like, yeah, I'm going to dirty bulk anyway because it's easy and it's fun, which is most people's excuse, then fine, go ahead, knock yourself out, I don't care. But for the guys who are driven to optimize their muscle gain to its highest, if you are driven to take the most efficient route to getting big, then I'm telling you right now, clean bulking is the best way to do it. Clean bulking in terms of gaining muscle and not putting on too much fat, it's objectively better. And so if you want to hear some stuff about pros and cons of dirty bulking and clean bulking and eating shit foods for the sake of making lots of muscle, even though there are way better ways to do it, then click off this video. We're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about clean bulking. So here's the thing with dirty bulking. It's that chances are you don't get enough nutrients. Your muscles don't need just calories to grow. They also need nutrients. And while junk food, it might give you some nutrients, like I'm sure there's some guys saying to this, oh yeah, junk food gives you nutrients, pizza and burgers and stuff and all these deep fried shit. They have nutrients in them. What are you talking about?
And to that I say, yeah, they have nutrients, but not the optimal amount, or the optimal nutrients themselves in the food. Clean bulking, on the other hand, when you eat only whole foods, when you eat lots of lean meats and whole grains and I don't know what else, fruit, vegetables. I don't really eat much fruit and vegetables. It's mostly just meat and whole grains. That's a lot of nutrients. Those are the best quality nutrients you will get compared to junk food. And so, because of that, you'll likely gain a lot more muscle clean bulking compared to dirty bulking. So that's point number one. Dirty bulking also makes you gain a lot more fat. We talked about this earlier. Dirty bulking, when you eat all this sugar and stuff with nasty ingredients like additives, I don't know, preservatives, emulsifiers, flavors, even natural flavors, not natural by the way. Those things, they will raise your insulin a lot. And we all know what insulin does. It makes you gain a lot of fat. Donuts and burgers and all this pizza. It's pretty common sense that those things will make you gain a lot of fat compared to eating meat and whole grains like what I do. Of course I'm not going to gain any fat because I'm eating healthy. I mean, it's pretty common sense that that's how it works with people. It's been known for years that people who eat junk food gain a lot more fat, so I shouldn't even need to explain this to you. Then there's also the addiction side of things, where in dirty bulking, you're likely going to become addicted to these foods. You probably are already addicted to these foods because that's why you're doing it, or thinking about doing it, or preaching it in the first place. It's because you're addicted. And if you're not doing it, then don't do it, because likely you will become addicted. And being addicted to these foods is going to make you eat way more than you need to. Like, with me, I can eat way more than I need to because I can get away with it. I don't gain any excess weight. I have plenty of energy throughout the day, and I'm hungry. You, if you're dirty bulking, you're just doing it for the immense pleasure you get from eating all that shit food. And along with all that shit food, you're getting all this fat and inflammation, insulin, whatever, I don't know. You're not really getting away with it. You are suffering the consequences of eating too much. Primarily gaining too much fat. When you clean bulk, you can eat in an excessive surplus. And it won't change that much. But with junk food, it's not the same. You'll face entirely different consequences from eating too much of it. So don't do it. And I learnt this the other day, that insulin actually has a role in transporting the nutrients into your muscles, and thus feeding them, making them grow. When you have lots of insulin all the time, so when you're eating donuts and burgers and pizza and all this junk food, you're going to start building up resistance to insulin. That's how people get diabetes, is they eat too much shit food and their body just stops responding to insulin. When your body builds up resistance to insulin, it becomes significantly harder for your insulin to transport those nutrients into your muscles, because your body's not responding to it anymore. And so it does make it significantly harder to gain muscle. So it's another reason you don't do it. Don't dirty bulk. But wait, there's more. Dirty bulking, I'm sure we've all felt this before multiple times. When you eat shit food, you feel like shit afterwards. Maybe you don't realize it because you've been doing it your entire life, just eating shit food. But the second that you stop eating shit food, you eat clean for once, and then after a month or so, you eat a pizza for the first time, you feel like shit for the rest of the day. And it does impact your training. It makes you feel sluggish and slow, and your brain is just, it doesn't work anymore. And then you go into the gym. You try and lift a weight, but you feel a bit tired, so you actually don't do as many reps as you should. You don't go to failure. You end up falling asleep on the bench press. That's happened to me before. Dirty bulking, I just don't think it's worth it. Yeah, the taste, it's all nice and good in the moment, but for the rest of the day, it just ruins everything. It's like when I look at a pizza yeah, it looks yummy, but I also see it for what it really does to you. To me, a pizza just covered with additives and all this processed meat, all these seed oils, all I see is pain and misery and hell on earth for the rest of the day, which is a bit extreme, but I still know the pain of eating junk food, so I don't do it, and that's why you should stop, if you do. And if you're not eating junk food, then good job. I'm proud of you. Keep doing you. I love you. Not in a gay way, that's weird. But I'm sure you knew that. Right. You knew that, right? You knew that I was not homosexual or gay this entire time. You wouldn't think I'm one of them, no. No, you don't think, no. No. I know what you believe. Anyway, if you want to try clean bulking, if you're not clean bulking already, and you want to try, then here are a few... I would say this is a list of things that you should stick to. Eating outside of this list, I mean, it depends what it is. I'm not sure I listed everything that is considered healthy, but I definitely haven't listed things that are unhealthy. So if you just stick to the stuff I list here, then you should be relatively fine, because this is what I eat daily. Plus fruits and vegetables and nuts, because I don't really eat those, but you can if you want to. Everything else I do eat on a daily basis, and not much of anything else. So, animal products, stuff like meat, poultry and eggs, that stuff is great. I love eating beef mince and steak. I have beef mince almost daily. Steak, not so daily because it's quite expensive, but I try to eat meat as much as possible. Dairy products like milk, yogurt or cheese, love that stuff. I eat that stuff daily as well. I will say that milk is quite high in sugar, believe it or not, so I try to stay away from it sometimes. Well, not stay away from it, but I don't eat too much of it. I eat a lot of yogurt and cheese though. That stuff's great. Healthy fats, so you want to eat lots of olive oil. Might be one of the only oils that isn't a seed oil. I'm sure there's some others that I'm missing. Just any type of oil that's not a seed oil is generally fine. The one I stick to, if you don't want to risk it, just stick to olive oil. Then there's nut butters and organic butter, not made from vegetable oil or seed oils. Butter that's just pure cream fat, I think it is. And I do eat a lot of peanut butter, so that stuff's great. And then there's fruits, vegetables, and nuts. I don't eat that stuff very regularly. Sometimes I'll eat nuts if I'm low in calories. But other than that, I just don't really enjoy that stuff. I like grapes. Grapes are nice. But other than that, I don't eat much of that stuff. And then whole grains. I eat lots of whole grains. I eat stuff like oats and croissants. Mostly just those two. People say that croissants are bad for you. And I'm just like, how? It's just butter and flour. And some other stuff that's not bad for you. Unless it's got additives in it, then yeah, it's probably a bit bad for you. But croissants just purely made from butter and flour and whatever they use in croissants, just natural organic croissants, it's perfectly fine. I think it's because people think that butter is bad for you. It's not. Don't listen to those guys. They're stupid. They're dumb. And so yeah, that is for if you want to eat clean. You want to clean bulk. You want to effectively gain that muscle, no fat whatsoever. Be that top G alpha male sigma omega guy that gets all the ladies. You clean bulk, bro. You goated. You good. You're a G. Good job. So I'll just regurgitate, summarize, whatever. Animal products, dairy products, healthy fats, fruit, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains. If you can eat within that list, then I'd say you're golden. Keep doing you. And that is the intermediate full guide for gym bros. Part 2. You're welcome.